Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? So, it's been a while since we've done a stream, and thought I would hop on today. It's been a while. So, not expecting as many people in here as usual. I think it's been like probably a month since I've streamed, at least. So, yeah, but it's been a while. Um, Again, just been busy with school, work, and but I've still been active in the Discord here and there, posting my trades, letting you guys know what I'm doing. Um, and it's been a while since I've streamed, so need to start streaming more, at least here and there, because I feel like some of you guys are getting information through YouTube, some are through Discord. If you haven't already, join the Discord. It's free. Link is in the description of the stream. And yeah, so I guess we'll go over what's going on so far this month. Did the Amazon trade last month that was flat, and then we have Microsoft that we're in right now, which I am down 61%. So really good, down about what's that, $2,176 right now. So not too bad. Seen worse. Yeah, as far as the charts are looking, these are some levels that I've listed. You could probably take out this 419 level, but just looking at Microsoft here, again, like as far as the seasonality goes for Microsoft, typically does well in April, 70%. I really should have went with Meta. I was gonna go with Meta, but I didn't. I went with Microsoft instead, and Meta's been performing a little bit better than Microsoft, but it is what it is. So, yeah, as far as Microsoft goes, I was looking at this 400 level I had marked, and the way I mark that is using the volume profile. So, just looking at this little range here, you don't even have to capture like what happened recently. I just knew that that 400 level was there. Like, let's say I just put the volume profile to here. You could just see where the value area low and value area high were meeting right around 398. And if you pull it forward, which is better to do, you could see a little node here. I mean, you don't even need volume profile to, if you know anything about finding support and resistance levels, you can really just look where the price has bottomed out or topped out and just try to get as many touches as possible. So you can see here we've had 1, 2, 3, and then we had one last week on Friday. Then yesterday we bounced off of it, and today we continued up. So hopefully we see Microsoft continue going up. Again, I'm holding call options, right? So if any of you aren't aware, these are the options I bought. You can see the trade, 328, 930, right? So I bought those on the last day of March, and I'm holding them through the entire month of April, this month. So yeah, that's how that's going. Hopefully you guys can hear me. All right, cool. So yeah, just looking at a technical analysis view of this, I was looking at that 400 level, psychological level. You could see the volume kicked in here on Friday. So there were a lot of, obviously there were more sellers than buyers on this day, but there was more volume in total. So if there were more buyers, they would be coming in right here. And we seem to have found some support. Now, granted, we have earnings coming up on Thursday. So today's Tuesday, right? We have earnings on the 25th. So we'll see where this goes. And I could show you guys. I've shown this before, but if you aren't aware, with options, you can kind of get an idea of where the price is going to go. Not the direction, but how far the move may take place, or how far of the move, how far of a move may happen just by looking at implied volatility on the options chain, right? So we could take a look at that. I'm hoping I can get a stream on Thursday. I may be able to do a stream just for the earnings call. Microsoft should be reporting after the bell. I don't know if they're going to be reporting at like 4:30 or 5, but they usually after the close they do the reporting. It's usually around that time. Earnings call and the earnings release. So hoping we get some upside momentum. Again, like today, we've had some confirmation that we got support on that 400 level right here, and hopefully we continue to rise up. But we'll see. As far as the expected move for Microsoft, so you can see I just showed my trade before. I'm down 61%, so not a good month. But again, that's why my risk is managed right off the bat, right? So I can hold my trade and not have to. I mean, of course, I worry about the trade. Like I want it to do well, but if it doesn't do well, then oh well, we'll go on to the next month. And you're never going to win 100% of your trades. Hell, you're not even going to win 50% of your trades sometimes. It depends on the year. It depends on the market conditions, right? So, I mean, I just looking through my back testing and the win rate, quote unquote win rate, I can have years that are really good, but I've only won 50% of my trades, right? Because really you only need a couple trades that are really big to make your year. So it's really all about how you protect your capital and stick with your strategy, right? So, but I'm still sticking to the strategy. I haven't gone anywhere with the strategy. I just haven't been streaming. I've just been busy. But we did really well back in February. I made, I forgot how much I made. I think I made around like 15,000 on Nvidia back in February. For any of you guys that were there for that, that's all real. You should be able to go back to the streams too for February to see that trade. But I did downsize my capital on my account. I had to move some money around, so and I was scalping options back in March. I stopped scalping options. I did lose money eventually. So I didn't lose all my money, thank God. But yeah, don't scalp options, all right? So that's why, I only do swing trading now. And scalping is high risk, high reward. And if anything, I think it's higher risk and less reward because you're just going to lose eventually. It's just how it works. All right, so for the implied volatility for Microsoft, a couple ways to look at this. So the earnings are on the 25th, right? So I'm going to go to the contract that is nearest to that earnings date. So this would be the April 26 contracts. And you could see we have an implied volatility of 63.99%. or plus and minus 18.25 or 26 if you round it, 18.26 points, plus or minus. Another way you could check implied volatility is just taking I think it's a straddle. There should be a strangle, yeah. A strangle. You can see 19 on the strangle. Did I do that right? Maybe it was out of the money. 16? No. So if you just take if you take the strangle price of the contracts on the puts and calls, you could see we're around 19. Of course, you can always just use the calculated implied volatility on the charts here. So 62. But again, like they usually calculate this. I'm pretty sure this is an average. I'm not sure how this number is calculated. I think they roll all the contracts and find one number for it. Don't quote me on it though. But it's close enough. I mean, this stuff isn't down to a T. Implied volatility is always going up and down as we get closer. Usually it goes up as we get closer, but anything can happen in the markets, and that's what changes it. So we're looking at let's call it 18 point move on Microsoft by Thursday evening. So let's just assume the price is where it's at right now. And we go, what did I say? It was 18. Say we go up 18. So I could just measure. Let's call it that. Down 18. All right. I'm just going to mark these lines. I'll make this one green and this one red so we can decipher which ones are what. So right now, you know, if we have a good earnings and we go up, hopefully we do. I'm holding calls, of course. We'll probably hit 425. That's assuming the price is at 407.57 by the end of the trading session on Thursday. And if we go down, we'll probably hit down to 389. Don't really see much support down there, but I think if we did go that low, it would probably get down to 380, down to this area of support. If it is support, we'll see. But you know, this trade was actually doing okay for like the first half of the month, I'd say, or the first couple weeks. You could see we were just kind of trading sideways. I was bouncing in and out of profit for this month, and then pretty much Monday, you know, we got slammed along with the rest of the market, right? This isn't really anything specific to Microsoft. I mean, we could just look at like the SPY. You could see by April 15th, SPY went down 1.25%. So this is a market-wide sell-off, right? I mean, there were comments from the Fed. You had some escalations in the Middle East, global political tensions. So, like, again, that's why even with seasonality and back testing and data to support our decision making or my decision making, doesn't mean it's going to happen, because you can have a global event or anything that throws your trade off. You know, those are anomalies that are always happening. So as far as what's going to happen with earnings, we'll see. I'm hoping we get a pop up. There's a good chance we do, especially after hitting $400. I'm hoping to see the price continue to go up here. You can see every time we come down to 400, the past 1-2 times, and now maybe 3 times, we've bounced higher and at least get to 415 and then go above to 430. So we'll see. It's kind of a wait and see. I mean, really, with any sort of swing trading or investing, I mean, it's more of just like set your strategy, buy and hold and wait. You have to have patience. I mean, this isn't day trading or scalping where you're in and out of a trade within minutes to maybe an hour or two. You know, this is part of the process, and that's why, like, I haven't really been posting as much content in terms of like videos, because I'm kind of beating a horse, you know, beating a dead horse at this point. But I think it's good to still stream and keep you guys updated and keep you guys updated on my thoughts. I think to make these streams a little bit more intuitive is to, you know, throw in some opinions on like what's going on news wise. Not news, but like market news, not political stuff. I'm not really into, you know, doing that sort of content. But at least market related events that do affect trades. So yeah, that's pretty much what I want to talk about there. I was going to go with Meta this month. I was really close to pulling the trigger on Meta, and I didn't. Instead, I went with Microsoft. And if I went with Meta, I'd probably be about flat on the trade. Would have gotten a really nice entry right at around like 485. But I didn't. And Meta came back down a little bit. It did pop up good right on the turn of the month. And, you know, it came back down a little bit. So we'll see how Meta goes. Meta's definitely looking better than Microsoft right now. And also Meta's got their earnings tomorrow. So, this week is all big for tech. So yeah. Hey, Rule, how you doing, man? Just gonna take a sip of water here, guys. So, yeah, that's what it's looking like for Meta. If any of you are just joining, just going over my trade for April. So far, we're looking at Microsoft. We have earnings on Thursday. We'll see how it goes. Again, just to prove that I'm still using my strategy in my trade. You can see I've entered the Microsoft calls on 328. At 9:38, I entered in the morning. And yeah, we're down, or I'm down 61%. A couple $1,000s. So I think Intel. Yeah, Raul, I've been busy, man. And also I've been more active in the Discord in terms of what I'm doing with the trades. It's just quicker and easier. But I want to start streaming again. I'm almost done with my semester of college. I am taking summer classes, but they should be all online. So, but yeah, and I've also, I work full time too. So I have other things going on, friends, social life. I'm not glued to my computer. I actually try to get away from my computer on the weekends and towards the evening because I'm on it all the time. So I apologize for the inconsistency in trades. Do I think Intel will turn around on earnings? I have no idea. Let's go take a look at Intel. Intel's been getting hammered. I looked at this chart, I think last week. I think I was looking at it on, Friday. It was down 5%. You can see here. Let's take a... let's go look at this. Before we even start diving deeper into what I think is going to happen, let's just do an overview because I haven't looked. All right, so we're down 22%. So congratulations if anyone bought puts. I'm sure like one person bought a put on Intel who watches my channel. But this is a pretty big drop. The last time we've had a drop like this on Intel, this was back in 2022. Usually a drop like this is superseded by further declines in price. Doesn't mean we can't have a pop back up here, but this is looking a little rough. So pretty much they're just looking at the earnings estimates here. You could see that the earnings aren't looking great. So something's going on with Intel. I haven't really looked into it as far as the fundamentals go. We could look at... But technically speaking, for Intel, you did have an uptrend here that finally broke, it looks like. Let me get away from the logarithmic. I want to get off the logarithmic charts because they could be a little deceptive sometimes. So you definitely broke this momentum to the downside. High volume on the weekly. Not much support. Not much support going on here. This thing's just cratering right now. Intel's been underperforming as far as a bullish stock. Intel's kind of been underperforming for quite a while. Isn't it? It's a higher the dividend. This is a higher dividend for a tech stock. What does Microsoft pay? 0.75. So, but again, just because it has a higher dividend doesn't mean it can't perform. But Intel's been having trouble with their management. They really fumbled the ball in terms of competing with AMD. We could take a look at AMD too. Again, look at AMD, same thing. A lot of these chip manufacturers, this is just the AI trade taking a breather. Nvidia too, although Nvidia is bouncing back up quick. But as far as Intel goes, I mean, it could be a buy. We could look at it on seasonality if that can tell us anything. Intel is an old stock, so we could have a lot of data. And listen, let's go to like 10 years and see. You may have a good May, no pun intended. You know, historically, you can see here Intel is a weak month. Only 30% of the Aprils going back 10 years on Intel have gone up. You could see the average return too is negative 4.7. So April's usually a rough month for Intel. This would have been a great trade to buy a put on if you were looking to do puts. Basically the reverse of my strategy. You know, you look for a low win rate, high loss average, you buy puts. November's usually a great month for the chips. But yeah, this is just getting wrecked. So careful with Intel. Again, like this isn't a stock that I really look at as far as trading. I would never really trade Intel. I think this is more of a buy and hold type of stock. I mean, this is a, I'll put it back to logarithmic. I mean, you could just look at Intel on a yearly chart. You know, it got back up to all-time highs, in 2018. And if you look at like Nvidia, for example, I mean, after like the 2008 crash, Intel or Nvidia was already blowing past its all-time highs by 2016. Yeah, I mentioned Intel does have earnings tomorrow. We could look at the implied volatility too. Oh no, I'm sorry, Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. So same day. So Intel and Microsoft are going to be reporting at the same time, most likely. Let's look at implied volatility. Decently high implied volatility, 97%. 2 points, 2.33 or 2.34 rounded. So you're probably looking at let's assume price stays where it's at. 2.34, right? Yeah, 6% jump to a, about 6.5% drop. 6.83. So we'll see. We'll see how Intel does. What is the market cap on Intel? Yeah, 144. I mean, Intel, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is a historically weak month for Intel. And I'm also going to assume it's a weak reporting period for Intel as well, just by looking at their seasonality. Even if they beat and raise guidance or something like that, it's just the way the markets ebb and flow. The markets work in weird ways like that. So what'd they do this time last year? I mean, there's a good chance you get a pop on earnings. Doesn't mean that the earnings have to be bad. I mean, this thing's already gotten beaten down since the beginning of the month. So like right here. So we'll see. Ticker U, Unity. We can look at Unity. We've looked at this one before in the past. All right. So it looks like I've drawn out. You know what? Let's go look at our previous analysis here. So you can see, DC, I guarantee you I put this here because you asked about this stock and I was doing a little analysis on it. But you can see we've come below, right? This $25 area. We're coming way below it now. And let's see. This is a big drop for this amount of volume. Very low volume for this big of a drop. Unity, when do they report? All right, next month in May. You can see here, the the volume's starting to rise, so you could be looking at a reversal back up into this range here. Now, I know I had this zone drawn out from like 26 to, this was just like a rough look, but if you just look at, from here to here, switch this to like a weekly, 'cause it's a lot of time. Let me turn off logarithmic. You could see Unity's trying to find support. Now, I'm not saying this trend line is the Bible, but this is an area to watch. Down here, this like $22 area. Where did this price come down to? Low of 21. So what I would be watching for is a volume spike here. That's what I'd be looking for on Unity. Looks like it went up about 1%, not a huge move, but the volume is increasing. So buyers are probably stepping in. I mean, evidently on the charts here, buyers are starting to step in. Why? Because, well, there can be a million reasons why, but just because this is a historically low level for this stock. I mean, you could tell this stock is very up and down, right? So like if you wanted to, I mean, this would be, in my opinion, if you believed in the company, right? Let's assume you like it fundamentally. Are they profitable? They are. They're expected to have a weak earnings. We can also look at their seasonality. Yeah. November looks like it's a strong month. June, July, and August are meh. They're kind of okay. June's actually very good, 18.2%. This could be setting up for a good range trade, right? So, like if I were going to do anything with this stock, I probably wouldn't even touch options on it. I'm assuming you're trading options, but for a buy and hold, and you want to trade it to, let's say, the top of this range. Let's assume the range is somewhere around, let's be conservative and put out like 40. I mean, this is one of those stocks that you kind of just want to buy and hold at the low end. Probably a good buy. I mean, there's no PE ratio. Like they literally just became profitable last year as far as earnings per share goes. Oh no, income. Hold on. Oh no, they're not profitable. Never mind. I mean, they're probably reinvesting, right? That's why their earnings are going up. But net income. Let me look at they growing their balance sheet. Not really. Fundamentally, the stock hasn't really changed as far as financials go. This is more, again, it's tech stocks, so it's all about what's going to happen in the future. I mean, any stock, it's all about what's going to happen in the future. But historically, when you get down to these levels, it's probably a good area to buy in. On the daily, it's looking like the bleeding may be stopping. This is a really good chance you get a reversal. And if it does reverse, especially let's say on earnings, it could be fast. I mean, you can be back up to, $27 by, the next 3 weeks. So a lot of non-profitable tech are getting impacted by higher interest rates. Yep, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even cover that before, but right. So we were expecting a rate cut in June. Obviously, that's not happening now. Inflation is continuing to stay stubborn, and in fact, trying to go up a little bit. So we'll see. Now they're talking about, I think, rate cuts closer to like September, October, towards the later half of this year. Again, it's well, it all comes down to inflation. So, um, I think you'll start to see. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people don't understand that rate hikes or rate cuts um, may begin once you start to see unemployment tick up. Usually, the Fed is supposed to cut interest rates when there's weakness in the economy. And so far, I know the lower class are not doing well, but and not even the middle class are doing well. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion, but businesses are still staying profitable. They're still making record profits, especially in the tech sector. So until you start to see those companies start to fade, I don't think the Fed is going to be cutting interest rates. Um, so usually by time the Fed cuts interest rates, bad things are happening in the economy. Another thing that I've mentioned before on this channel is the 10-year minus the 2-year, so the inverted yield curve for the treasuries. We're still inverted, and every time, so this is basically the 10-year treasury yield minus the 2-year treasury yield, and you get this chart here. And you can see back in 2008, as soon as this, I could just take an example here. So we have the dot-com bubble and the financial crisis. So as soon as the yield curve inverts, or basically the 2-year interest rate is higher than the 10-year. That's basically all I'm saying. You see this blue line go below the zero line, which is black in the center. And as soon as it uninverts, it starts going back up. Or in other words, the interest rates start to normalize, quote unquote. Because usually the longer term rates on a bond are supposed to be a little bit higher than the shorter term. But right now it's like completely the other way. Short term, and that's why like everyone's getting like CDs and high yield savings accounts. It's because the short term interest rates, like the 2-year, the 1-year, 6-month, higher interest rates right now. But as soon as you start to see that go the other way, usually it's followed by a recession or slowdown at the very least in the economy, coupled with a stock market crash. Whether that be a 10%, 20%, 50% crash, you never really know how far it's going to go down. But you could see it happen back in the dot-com bubble. So happened here, and these shaded areas on the chart signify recession, right? Shaded areas indicate U.S. recessions. It's down here in the bottom left. So, and this is straight from the Federal Reserve, this website, Fred Economic Data. But you can see right now on the right hand of the graph, we technically had a recession for like 1 quarter during 2020, during COVID, and then now we have an inverted yield curve. That's hence this blue line is below the black line in the center, and it's trying to go back up. It's trying to uninvert, quote unquote. So as soon as that happens, I think over the years, and this has happened over and over again. So this has happened, back in 1980, the 90s. Every time this uninverts, I think every time this happened, how many times has this happened? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's happened like 5 or 6 times. I think like 5 out of the 6 times we've had a stock market crash once this yield curve uninverts. So we're kind of waiting for that to happen here right now. And we've been trying to push back up. So watch this chart. I'll post the link to the website in the chat. So you guys can just keep that bookmarked. This is a really interesting chart. And I guarantee you guys right now, when you see the stock market if it does continue to plummet, I don't know if it will. I'm not saying it will, but if it does, I guarantee you're going to see this blue line the yield curve to uninvert and start to get back above and normalize. And we may be preceded by at the very least, a recession or slowdown in the economy, not the markets, just the economy. So we'll see what happens. I mean, again, like this, the Fed could cut rates, pump more money into the markets and into the economy, and we don't have anything happen. I can go on all day about central banking and my thoughts on it, but we're doing things in the markets and the economy right now we haven't done before, at least in our country. This is, money printing and stuff has happened over and over again, going back centuries, and we all know the end result. It's inflation, and then, the end of your currency. So we'll see what happens. But as far as tech goes, with higher interest rates, yeah, definitely. I mean, we're seeing a slowdown. There were layoffs, I think, a few weeks ago. So who knows? So I'll give you guys the down low scoop on what I'm going to be doing for next month. For May, I'm going to be entering NVIDIA. For May is going to be NVIDIA. So again, this is a bigger trade. I think this trade's around 5,000. So I'm going to have to find a alternative trade for you guys I understand if you guys don't have $5,000 laying aside to put into a risky trade. Totally understand that. But can I find something that's around $400, $500? Of course. So, but yeah, as far as the seasonality goes for NVIDIA, it's pretty good. Goes up 74% of the time in the past 20 years. And also keep in mind, what did NVIDIA do in May of 2023? Does anyone got any memory on that? Because that's when NVIDIA, pretty much this time last year, NVIDIA skyrocketed, right? So let me put this back to logarithmic. May 2023 is right here. NVIDIA went up 36% in 1 month. So, and that's when the AI trade, really, the AI story became mainstream and bought up. So, are we going to have something like that? I'm not going to say we're going to have a 36% up month, but could we have a good month? Maybe. We'll see. Recession are part of the business cycle. Forecasting when it's hard. Interest rates, uninversion, can't forecast. Yeah, of course, Earl. I agree. Like, it's just, again, like, it's just data, right? Like, and interest rates are just data. That's why when I, like Microsoft, this trade right now that I'm in, like, yeah, statistically it's a good trade for this time of the year, but I'm down right now. I'm not saying I'm going to lose this month. Anything can happen on earnings, but, you can have global events, war, viruses, COVID, right? Like, things externally can throw off your statistics and your data in 1 day or literally in hours. So we'll see. Usually, again, going back to data, this year's an election year, so we have an election coming up in less than 7 months, 6.5 months or so. Usually the markets do good in election years, and then the following year after election year, it usually doesn't do as great. I don't know. I did some research on this, and I think like the second and third term or third years of a president's term are like the best years for the stock market. So we'll see what happens. Like, again, like, that's why I say, like, manage your risk whenever you do trades. Always be ready to be wrong, because you will be wrong statistically. Yeah. know what stock took a hit big time? Oh wow, Netflix really came up today. I didn't even look at that. Netflix took a hit. Guys, if any of you guys were here back in January, I think Raul, you were here for that. We made good money, or I made good money on Netflix back in January. We had a 10% jump on Netflix on earnings. That was a good month. And Nvidia was probably my best trade. Actually, funny enough, like in my back testing over like I think like 8 years, 9 years of options data back testing. That trade in February that I took back here, I think I made like 15,000, or I forgot the percentage gain. I think it wasn't I think it was around like 270%, if I can think off the top of my head. That was like one of the best trades in my list. So we'll see what happens for Nvidia in May. Hoping the same. Third year and yeah, you're right, Roll. Yep, third year and the first. Yep. Yeah, Netflix was a good trade. And you know what's funny? Netflix, they really jumped because I think that was the first time they released their user data, their subscription data, the amount of people that are subscribed. They're going to be stopping that now by the end of this year. So the next, 2 earnings releases for Netflix, they're going to show subscriber numbers and then they're going to stop reporting them. So, yeah, cool 100%. I forgot what I made on Netflix. I think it was around like 100 or 200%, somewhere around that range. Maybe it was like 100% too. Feels so long ago, but it's only like barely 2 months ago, 3 months ago. The hardest part with these trades is like having the discipline to sit through it. You know, I think that's why like what I do isn't really popular, but it makes sense. And I think a lot of people that follow what I'm doing, or at least take interest, already try the day trading stuff or know already that it's not good. So taking a longer term approach to playing the markets is the better option. And so far it's been working for me. I mean, I can go on and on about my journey so far. So yeah, and there's nothing wrong with taking quick profits. Like, and I say that too, right? Like I've preached that before. If you don't feel comfortable with, if you make 100% on a trade and like that's money you need, like take it. There's nothing wrong with, you know, tweaking your own strategy or doing something because it makes you feel better. Like tweak the strategy. You know, not everyone's the same. Everyone has different risk appetite and different psychology. It all comes down to that. Amazon, I didn't really lose that much money on Amazon. I look back on my Discord. What did I lose on Amazon? 410, 60. What was that? I think that was like a 20% drop. Let's see. 410 minus 47 divided by 47. Yeah, I lost 12% on Amazon. So a 12%, losing 12% on an options trade on Amazon in the month of March, I consider that like a flat trade, a flat month in terms of options. So, it's funny. If I sold Amazon closer to the end of the day, I think I would have made money. So that's options for you. Volatility. Gotta love it. S-Bucks. Starbucks. What do we got? Man, this thing took a shellacking. I mean, everything took a hit. Whoops. Wow. Just buy Starbucks in July and be done with it. It goes up 100% of the time. July, November. No, I'm just joking. Let's go 15 years. March, July, and November stick out to me for Starbucks. But as far as the chart goes, I'm going to bring this up on a weekly. So again, like right away, zoom out, right? Like this area right here that we're at sticks out to me just based off of this topping here. You did have a little resistance right there, but ranging right here, right? Bounce right here. We broke through, but we're trying to hold. So this $88 level seems to be, could be a good buy. Could argue it's already broken. I mean, if you brought this up to like here, to like 90, I like to use whole numbers on the levels too, because it's usually psychology behind it. $90. I think that's the correct level to be looking at here. I mean, we technically broke it already. What does Starbucks usually do in May? Yeah, so these are usually weak months for Starbucks. And seasonality's playing out, for sure. I mean, so far in April, it's a weak month, 50-50. It's a coin flip. Doesn't mean it can't go up, 3% by the end of this week, but I still have logarithmic on. All right, let's turn that off. You do have volume coming in here. Yeah, so for Starbucks, probably going to have a week, just statistically speaking, sideways. At the very least, I think this thing's just going to continue going sideways. Back in 22, it was going sideways for a little bit here. But July is usually when you want to be in Starbucks. As far as options go, though, I don't know if you can get a big enough move on Starbucks. Unless that is a low IV, but that's why I like to stick with the tech stocks, because they usually move a little bit more. You need that reward for the risk. Oh, I'm sure Snow did take a hit. Everything took a hit. I mean, like I have a Roth 401k through work, and then I have a Roth IRA, like a separate retirement account, and literally all I buy in that account is this VGT. Now I'm young, so I can afford the aggressive risk. Basically, this mirrors the NASDAQ with low fees. What is the fee on this thing? Discount premium, yeah, like 0.1%. Pretty low for. This is an ETF, so usually ETFs are. I mean, even VGT took a 5% hit. So once those broad index or broad ETFs go down, everything else comes falling down too. Snow's looking like a good buy. Believe it or not, like when the prices are depressed like this, you got to start licking your chops. You got to think about the future. Granted, you still believe that things are going to get better. If you think things are going to get better in, let's say, a year from now, probably a good time to be looking at some stocks to buy. I mean, Snowflake's been ranging for almost 2 years now. But as far as the short term goes, June and July, that's where you want to be. Yeah, like if you're gonna buy and hold snow, probably be not financial advice. Probably be a good time to start looking. I mean, you're at the bottom of a range here. I mean, really, you can draw it out like this. It's really a parallel channel, like that. You know, kind of at the bottom end of this. Doesn't mean you can't break this. You can easily break this range. Um, but, you know, that's what you're dealing with. Buy and hold snow. Yeah, I mean, you can, you know, keep your risk low if you're gonna buy and hold it. What I like to do is I'm an aggressive investor, so like instead of like I don't even buy individual stocks like Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple. I just buy VGT, Vanguard Information Tech. You can also buy VOO, which is the S&P 500 Vanguard ETF. Simple, easy, low fees. You don't have to worry about rebalancing and, you know, picking certain stocks. As far as any individual stocks go, I just buy options on them, and a lot of times, you know, my options plays are involved with earnings, right? So technically, I am playing earnings with these trades, but using just using a swing strategy behind it, right? Not all my trades have earnings in the timeline when I'm in it, but a lot of them do, and it makes sense. Like to get a big move out of a stock, you know, usually earnings are what drive a stock. I mean, if you look at a very simple stock like McDonald's on a monthly chart, I mean, why does McDonald's stock keep going up? I mean, it's not a tech stock. It's not one of these companies that have great potential behind it, you know, like AI does right now, right? So there's not like any like big hype behind it. It's not like a bubble or anything. I'm not saying McDonald's doesn't have a bubble behind it. It could, who knows? But what keeps driving McDonald's price over time to the upside, year after year after year? Earnings. And the earning, why? Because the earnings show the growth of the company, right, in their financials. So when I make money on, let's say, Netflix stock in January, you know, the trade I'm in is betting to the upside that Netflix has grown over a certain period and they're going to continue to grow, and they're going to tell that to their investors in their guidance reports. So, I mean, that's really all I'm doing. And then I just look at seasonality. Like seasonalities, and it makes sense. I mean, I've probably spoken about this a million times before, but you know, seasonality in anything, not just stocks, but commodities and trends, right? Like people, you know, what drives all these companies' earnings? It's consumer behavior. Maybe not all of it, right? Like Nvidia has a lot of commercial buyers, right? A lot of companies are buying Nvidia's chips to power their AI, right? So that's more business to business, and that's why they're making so much money. But like Netflix, you know, I have a Netflix subscription. Netflix makes most of their money, almost all of their money probably, from people paying 10, 15. I can't believe how much Netflix is now, like $20 a month, right, for a subscription. That's how they make most of their money. And consumers over time, you know, it's really just psychology if you really think about it, the way people spend money, right? Netflix does better in the winter, and the earnings do better towards Because, when I bought the stock, I think they were reporting their fourth quarter earnings, right? Was this for the fourth quarter? Technically, I think so, right? Period ending December. Yeah. So fourth quarter earnings for Netflix. A lot of people are inside their house watching Netflix, or they want to buy a subscription for Netflix. So there's seasonality, there's human behavior, consumer behavior behind Netflix's earnings going up in a certain period of time, right? Like if like think about it like right now. Like right now it's April 23rd and it's starting to get warmer out, right? Right now, like if I wanted to make money this coming winter, I have to think ahead of time and say, okay, what's something I could buy right now that's cheap because there's no demand for that people are going to use in the winter? It could be winter clothes, snow shovels, snow blowers, whatever, winter related stuff. Because the demand goes down and so does the price, right? Demand goes up, price goes up. So it's the same thing with stocks. That's all it is. Now, it doesn't always work out like that perfectly. There's anomalies, right? News events. This month, Iran and Israel are going back and forth right now, where they were last week and this week a little bit. Since that's happened, the stock market, not just Microsoft, but the stock market as a whole. Now, some of you can argue that it was already going down, but the market's really accelerated to the downside after that event. So doesn't mean that this, and that's why like whenever you see big drops in the overall market, it's usually a good time to buy because people are going to still demand the goods, still demand the supply from companies, products, software, whatever it may be. But since there's fear, the prices go down. It's a good time to swoop in, right? Take advantage because the demand is still there. It's going to remain if you want to buy at lower prices. So, a lot of it's just like it's just mindset, really. And this is when I started making money in the markets. Is when I had that mindset. I think a lot of people come into the stock market thinking it's like just all numbers related. If you're good at math, you're good at the stock market. It doesn't really work like that. Like, I'm decent at math. I'm not a mathematician at all, but I know how to do a thing or two with mathematics, and that's all I really needed to, find something, a strategy, and apply it to some numbers. So just because you have a logically based brain doesn't mean you're going to do well. So it's really just mindset and thinking outside of the box. Yeah, VGT. That's what I'm buying right now. Just buy a couple shares every once in a while. I should probably buy some more since we've had this drop. Throw that in the Roth IRA. And I won't see it for another 30 or so years. And if you guys haven't already started allocating towards retirement, especially if you're young, do it. Even if you're older, you could still do it. It doesn't hurt. But if you just look at projections on your accounts just by simply investing consistently over let's say 25, 30 years, it's a good amount of money. Especially if you do a Roth, you don't have to pay any tax on it. But I'm not a financial advisor. Go to an actual financial advisor for that sort of stuff if you're unsure on what to do. That I will tell you. Just don't YOLO onto Nvidia. I remember staring at Nvidia's price at 150 in 2022. Should have full ported into Nvidia. Would have been able to buy a couple houses by now. So that's pretty much it. I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Again, we have earnings coming up on Thursday. Still in my Microsoft trade. If you are new to the stream or you haven't joined already, join the Discord. There's a link in the description. You know what? Let me go test that link and make sure it's still working. Because it's been a while since I've looked at it. But join that Discord. It's completely free. Just be aware that there could be bots or scammers. I've been trying to take them out one by one. The only way I can really know if there's scammers are if people report it. So please let me know if that is the case. Let me make sure this Discord link's working. Yeah, it is. Okay. So the Discord still works. But yeah, I've been, I didn't stream for the Microsoft opening trade, but I did post in the trade chat about my new trade and what I was entering and my plans. So if I ever not stream on YouTube, at least you can get updated on that side. And I think we have a good amount of members in the Discord too. What are we up to? 70, 71? 71 members. Decent amount. I'm actually surprised by how many members are in the Discord. I hope like half of them aren't bots or something or scammers. So we have a decent amount. And again, it's completely free. No charges, no subs, nothing like that. I've thought about adding a subscription layer just to keep the scammers out, but I really don't want to do that to you guys. I mean, like, it would be nice to make extra income on the side doing this, but I don't find it worth it taking you guys' money. Hey, Lind. Day trading? I don't day trade. I'm a swing trader. Longer term. But this month so far, it's been mediocre. It is what it is. Down 61% on my Microsoft calls. So you win some, you lose some. It's all about the long term. Yeah, I was scalping. I was scalping a little bit. I stopped doing that. So lost a little bit of money, and I was like, you know what? Let's not do that anymore. I started to remember why I stopped scalping like many years ago. So instead, I took the money, bunch of the money that I made. I downsized my swing trading account, put a little into retirement, and well, I did what any other 20-something-year-old would do with a lot of money. Bought myself a car. So, but I needed a car. I had like a 2004 Camry that I was driving for like 9 years. So it was time to upgrade. Yep. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm going to try to stream on Thursday for the earnings on Microsoft. Intel's going to be releasing too. I do have plans later that day for Thursday, but I'll try to hop on around like 4 or like 3:30. And we'll see if I either make money or lose money on this trade. I'm hoping we have a good earnings on Microsoft and we go up. So right now it's just wait and see. As long as I think as long as we don't have any like new wars or anything like that, I think we'll be okay. Seems like every time I'm in a trade there's a new conflict breaking out. But it is what it is. I mean, that's why statistics and every metric you can use under the sun to predict price doesn't work, because you have a political global event that completely turns your trade upside down. So that's how it works. It's real life, real world. But yeah, we're doing good. Patience. It's all about patience. And I don't know if you're in the Discord too, but I'm gonna be doing the Nvidia for May. Kind of giving you guys a heads up for my next month trade. Going back to Nvidia. Now I know this is gonna be an expensive trade. It's like a $5,000 option, I think, just for one contract. So probably find an alternative trade here soon. What do we got? We got 7 days from today. So to get that figured out. So I'll be doing more streams to keep you guys all updated on what's going on. Yeah, join the Discord. It's free. It's in the description of the stream, in the YouTube description. It's free. We already have a decent amount of people. Just be aware there may be, because it's a open free Discord that anyone can join. Be careful of like scammers. We've had a few of them already, and I think most people know that are in my Discord, if they do come across scammers or getting direct messages from some random person, or someone that's trying to mimic me, they usually report it in my chat and then I ban them. But again, like I will never DM you guys on Discord. I'll either talk to you through the public chats on Discord or here on the stream. So don't answer any direct messages from anyone that's impersonating me, because I will not be direct messaging at all. Fortunately, this is one of the things you have to deal with as a free Discord. Rather than charging you guys X amount of dollars, I'll deal with the scammers instead of charging you guys. That's pretty much it. I think I've talked about all I wanted to talk about today. Just got a big day coming up on Thursday. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Lind. Yeah, again, like the YouTube thing, like this, all what I do here, as far as like streaming and the community, it's a hobby, really, for me. Like I already make money through the markets and working full time, I also go to grad school, so that's a whole nother thing in the mix to deal with. Although the school's going well, but just more responsibilities. Plus social life, right? Like I don't just sit around and just work, and I like to do things with friends and go out. So it's kind of hard to balance like 5, 6 different things at once. So, but again, like if you're in the Discord, you can always hit me up in there. You can at me in the Discord. I usually respond within a day or so. I have it on my phone, so I just check it. So if you ever want to reach out or have questions and I'm not streaming, um, I'll happily answer you through there. Just don't direct message me. I don't do direct messages or DMs on Discord because I don't want to confuse anyone with scammers or anything. So just at me on the public chats, and I'll help you there. Plus, I find the Discord a little bit easier to communicate with you guys. I mean, the streams are the easiest, but obviously I'm not streaming 24/7, so the Discord's the second best option to communicate and relay information. So, but it's nothing fancy. Not a big Discord. It's just basically trading for members trades, and then what I'm doing, like a private closed off channel from everyone, just like a channel that I can only write in. Just tell them what trades I'm in, what I'm exiting, what I'm entering, whatever, yada yada yada. So, but yeah. So the YouTube stuff, it's just a hobby. I really have no ambition to grow this channel to like a serious amount of subscribers or viewers. If I were really worried about that, to be honest with you, I'd probably be charging you guys subscriptions and that sort of stuff, just like all the other gurus who don't even make money, ironically. I'm sure there's other people out there that do actually make money in the markets and do the same thing I do. Don't charge anyone, they do it all for free. But I'm not really trying to market myself to millions of people. It's just more of a like-minded community that are just looking to actually make money in the markets and in a reasonable way. So, but even still, like I still lose money in the markets too. So I mean, losing is just part of the game. But over the long run, we make, or I at least make money in the long run. So, but everyone's different. It all comes down to everyone's psychology and choices and where they enter and exit. So a lot of variables. So that's pretty much it, guys. Again, I'll probably, okay. I will be streaming. That's it. I'm setting in stone. I will be streaming Thursday. I'll hop on around 3:30. 3 o'clock, 3:30 on Thursday for Microsoft earnings. And we'll see if I make or lose money on the earnings. Basically, right now, in terms of implied volatility for Microsoft, we're looking at assuming prices at this current level by earnings, we're looking at like a 4% increase and like a 4% decrease in price, plus or minus. So, yeah, around 425. Basically at the upper end of this range that we were in like 2 weeks ago. And then below the $400 level that we just bounced off of. So that's pretty much it. So I'm going to log off, guys. If you could, before you sign off, just hit the like button. I'm sure all of you are already subscribed, but hit the like button. It helps out. Huge. That's pretty much it. Again, if you haven't joined the Discord yet, join it. It's free. It's linked down in the description. Just be aware of scammers and bots. If you do come across any in your direct messages, make sure to DM or make sure to post it in the Discord public chats, and I'll ban the person. And that's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys joining in tonight. Had a good conversation. Went over a lot of stuff. How long were we streaming here? An hour and 20 minutes. Not too bad. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Thursday. 3 o'clock, 3:30. Let's call it 3 o'clock. Hopefully, I'm not busy at work because I do work during the day. But I want to be available for the stream or for the earnings. So that's it, guys. Hope you all have a nice night, and I'll talk to you soon.